All right. Well, hello and welcome. My name is Nick Rambo, and I'm the Director of Graduate Recruiting here at the Mitchell E. Daniels Jr. School of Business. I'm thrilled they're able to join us today for this informational session on the MBT program, as well as its concentration in AI. I'm joined today by a couple of fantastic guests. First up is Jeffrey Hu is a full professor and Accenture chair here at the Daniels School. He's also a distinguished fellow of the Informs Information Systems Society and is a world-renowned expert on AI, analytics, digital economy and transformation, e-commerce, omnichannel retailing, and social media. His research uses AI as well as econometric and analytical models to quantify technology-driven user experiences across many sectors, including healthcare and fintech. He holds a PhD in management science and information technology from MIT, a master's in economics from UW-Madison, and a bachelor's in finance from Tsinghua University. Jeffrey, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
We're also joined by Professor Mohammed Rahman, who is the inaugural Daniels School Chair in Management and a professor at the Mitchell E. Daniels Jr. School of Business. He was named one of the world's top 40 business school professors under 40 by Poets and Quants, and his research and teaching interests primarily focus on omnichannel retailing, innovations in inequality, AI and decision-making, data-driven decisions in digital business, and digital transformation and markets. Mohammed, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So as we've discussed, the future of AI is now. And while some people ask if it will ultimately play out to being humans versus AI, we believe that AI is something that we can use to augment our processes, not necessarily replace humans in the process. So our goal today is to explore the role of AI in business decision-making. We'll discuss how AI is used, some of its flaws, and how the human influence on AI algorithms and data models can ultimately benefit us here in the business space. So I want to start with you today, Jeffrey. In your view, how are businesses using AI within a decision-making context?
Businesses are using data to replace the, I think, gut feeling from managers. You are using data and AI to really make a very accurate decisions. Number one, you want to use AI and data to figure out what's going on, what happened in the past. Okay, that's called monitoring. Number two, you can use AI to do attribution, to find out the factors driving the phenomena you are seeing in your business. And number three, you can use AI to make predictions, to predict what will happen tomorrow. For instance, how many customers you will have tomorrow, or maybe at any given hour in a particular location. Okay, and given all these three things you can do, monitoring.
Did we lose Jeffrey?
Looks like it. I think
no.
we're having some technical issues.
How unfortunate. All right. Well, we'll wait for him hopefully to jump back in. But I think, Jeffrey was talking about, some different components within AI and how we're using those in the business space. So Mohammed, let's pivot over to you quickly here. With what Jeffrey was saying in mind, how do you feel like our MBT program really prepares graduates, to implement AI into the business making decisions using some of the concepts that Jeffrey was referring to?
Well, like when you think about transforming businesses or disrupting businesses with AI, you really have to understand fundamentally what facets are going to change in the business decision making and how would they change. And these changes are going to be small sort of operational changes. So this is where he was talking about monitoring, to making predictions and sort of trying to even thinking about like, okay, how my business model can completely be changed because now I am much more accurate probably in predicting what might happen, right? Or I can do some augmentation of human and AI that can allow me to do more better decision making. So the uncertainty goes down, or I'm able to take more risk. So I think these are things that you have to understand in with the lenses of business in mind, right? You can't just know the technology, or you cannot just know the business, because then you don't know the limits or the possibilities with AI. So this is where MBT is important.
Sure. Well, let's circle back on that point then. Can you talk to us a little bit about what MBT is all about here at Purdue?
Sure. So MBT is a graduate program. It's sort of like, I guess, known in the market as mostly what's called tech MBA today, right? But then the tech MBAs are out there, mostly retrofitted MBAs with some classes sprinkled in with some technology flavor. But here at Purdue, we are basically really doing what should be the right thing to do, is generating a degree, planning a degree, and sort of coming up with a curriculum that actually thinks about both the business side of technology as well as technological understanding that's needed to lead a business. So it's basically the future graduate business education to really lead the organizations and the economy.
Sure. I mean, as we're talking about the future, we have to talk about the current, right? So in a lot of ways, people who are looking at MBT may be more familiar with an MBA. Can you walk us through some of the fundamental differences in terms of curriculum and really sort of program design elements, some of those differences between the two?
Sure. Yeah. So I think, traditionally MBAs, whenever we thought about MBAs, it was a 2 year degree with a lot of focus on giving a broad view of the business and really spending time mostly on also getting applied experiences through case discussions and through sort of group work and sometimes immersive experiences about what business decision making looks like and how do you do a good job in managing a business. And that's still important, that's useful, but I think as technology changes the whole business landscape and technology becomes the primary sort of enabler and the source of advantage in the business context, all of a sudden, just understanding business is not good enough anymore. You now really have to think about, okay, how do I really get a better understanding of technology so that I can use technology? Because every company today is a technology company, whether you're banking, whether you are a pizza giant, whether you are a pharmaceutical company, your oil company, everything is about now digital products. If you think about an airplane, the airplane is, like an app, and everything is very integral part of that airline experience. And even inside an airline, there's a lot of digital products that kind of dictate what the experience of the consumer is going to be. So those require now deeper understanding of technology, not just the superficial sort of understanding of just, oh, you know what, this technology exists. No, that's not going to serve it. So you need an education that really gets through the business side, but as well as give you a deeper understanding of the technology side, which is what we're doing. But also today, most people don't have 2 years to spend. The market is very competitive. It's a very different world than in the past. So the program we have, MBT, is a 1 year program. So students can come, get the degree, and then rock in the world.
Excellent. Well, it seems like Jeffrey's been able to rejoin us, so we'll pivot back to him quickly. Jeffrey, you were kind of walking us through, how businesses are using AI for decision making. You were talking about predictive modeling. You're talking about monitoring techniques. Why don't you go ahead and continue on with those thoughts?
Okay, sure. And you can also use AI to make predictions, to predict what will happen to your business tomorrow, how many consumers you will see in your store, and in the next hour, how many how many orders will come in a particular location, right, for that need to be served. And given monitoring, you can do monitoring, given you can do attribution, given you can do predictions, then finally you can make optimized and smart business decisions.
Right. And so I think that's kind of the fundamental idea, right? You're going to use AI to improve, to optimize that business decision making, which really falls right in line with what we are talking about with MBT. But obviously there may be some flaws in that, right? So walk us through, in your mind, some of the common flaws of really the computer side of AI, right, in that decision making. How are I guess my primary question is, how are humans maybe, better equipped in some cases, to make those kinds of choices, using AI rather than AI using it by, making those decisions on its own?
Well, technology is not perfect. Sometimes there could be scenarios where the AI program will produce a result, and humans still need to interpret the results, and then try to make decisions based on the results. And sometimes the results could be maybe have errors in it, and so the humans also need to consider what happens when you have those scenarios where you see something that's abnormal. And also humans need to basically work with AI together. So to really figure out what kind of business ideas business projects humans should pursue. And humans will make those decisions. And humans also need to eventually collaborate with AI, collaborate with other humans on other teams to really make all of this go together.
I'm curious, in your research and in your time as an educator, you talked about there can be errors with AI. Do you have any examples that come to mind for you in that space, like a famous one or something that you've run across?
Sure. Think about this. Okay, think about maybe a shopping mall. The shopping mall can install some sensors to monitor what's going on, how many consumers are going into the shopping mall, and how the consumer traffic is distributed across different stores in the shopping mall, right? So AI, for instance, can be used to predict how many people and what kind of people may come tomorrow, and maybe go visit each particular store in a shopping mall, right? And the AI model can tell you maybe tomorrow in this particular Apple store, you will have maybe 100 visitors this morning from maybe 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. And that 100 is an estimate, is a prediction. And the reality may not be 100, maybe a range, maybe eventually you get maybe sometimes get maybe 120, sometimes you get 80, okay, depending on maybe that day's weather, right? Depending on maybe you have certain of these campaigns going on that can drive maybe more people to come in, okay? So the reality may be slightly different from the output of the AI model.
And then, to your last point, then, humans have to work together, right, to interpret that data, right, to understand if the predictive modeling techniques and AI is going to be accurate. So, can you walk us through, how humans might be able to step in and influence those data models and algorithms to optimize outputs or increase accuracy of the models?
There are many models you can pick from the off-the-shelf models. There are also models you can build that are not off-the-shelf, maybe more cutting-edge models, okay? And humans need to, number one, pick a model that would work very well, okay? Number two, and even one particular model, humans need to maybe tune the model, to tune the parameters in the model such that that model would fit the particular business scenario very well. And then eventually, humans also need to interpret the outcome of those models and then eventually decide what to do, okay? And maybe today we have a campaign going on. Maybe in that scenario, we are seeing abnormally high consumer traffic, much higher than the AI model is giving us, right? So humans need to decide in that scenario, right? You have something that's slightly different from the output of AI model, what to do.
Gotcha. Well, hold on, I'm going to pivot back to you for a moment here. We talked a little bit about how MBT might prepare graduates to implement AI, and a little bit about what MBT is exactly. I'm curious, in your mind, as we think about this AI specific concentration, what kind of students is this going to be the best fit for, right? As you think about people coming in, and then I want to pivot from there, just as a spoiler alert here, talk about what kind of roles they might, be able to attain afterward. But if someone's looking at this program, what's going to help make them an ideal fit for MBT with AI innovation as their concentration?
Well, I think generally speaking, students who have a background in STEM, so they have the analytical sort of skills down already, right? And then to do some of these classes requires sort of better understanding of machine learning and better understanding of applications of machine learning. Could require, some programming skills. So although we'll be sort of requiring students to get that, but anybody who has some of those already, that they're going to be able to sort of pick up more quickly. But generally speaking, as long as they have good engineering or computer science or, like strong math or STEM background, they should be able to do that. Because, these classes that we have, we definitely are very aware that these people come from diverse backgrounds. So, you have to, so the core classes of MBT will already teach you the prerequisites we need to be able to do the concentration well. Now, there are certain classes, let's say if you're trying to go into CS, particular classes where there might be a prerequisite, and that prerequisite, if you don't have that class from your undergrad, yeah, it'll be difficult, right? But generally that won't be the case. So I think people who are really curious, who really want to make a difference with AI, they can really pursue this concentration. In terms of roles, jumping onto that, I think, there is a lot of demand right now out there to manage AI, to do AI product management, AI management, AI transformation. If you think about even business analyst, if you think about even consulting, you really have to understand AI to be able to do consulting well today. So I think the roles are there depending on the industry that a graduate wants to go into. There are many different roles they can take.
I think it's important to highlight really the foundational piece of this, right? So MBT is a program that's achieved in collaboration, between the Daniels School as well as the CS programs here at Purdue and the College of Engineering. So as you look at the course listings, you have an opportunity to take courses in CS at the graduate level, in engineering at the graduate level, which is, I think, a really kind of a hallmark achievement for us. Mohammed, can you speak to that at all and sort of what that signifies here at Purdue and what opportunities that may make available for students in the future?
Oh, for sure, right? I mean, as you think about the world that we're getting into, right, we were no longer in silos. We can no longer say, engineers, you just need to sort of think about engineering and engineering sort of innovations and not worry about all the business side of things. It's not, like you don't really climb up and you don't make a career to be doing very well in that sense. At the same time, if you're a business person and you're just thinking, you know what, I'm just going to know the plain vanilla business, right? So the old way of doing things, managing some people, managing some resources, that's not going to work well either, right? It's just you really have to understand the technology better to be able to see, okay, can I manage a team? You don't have to be the guy who is actually implementing everything. I'm not expecting that from every person who is leading a business. But if you don't understand the technological sort of possibilities and the limits, you're not going to be able to make the right business decisions, not going to be able to really do well. Now, that requires really tight collaboration of different strengths within a university. Purdue is a world-class university with great engineering school, which is now number 4, right? And a great highly ranked computer science program. And we're known for that. Now, the business school and engineering coming together, in this tight relationship is actually a great start for Purdue to show that, the world is going this way and we're leading the way. So we're literally sort of leading the way for the world to know that business and engineering and computer science, they all have to come together to really allow students to learn from different parts of the university to be able to do well and to be able to really run the world better in the next few decades.
Yeah, that's a great point. Jeffrey, I want to pivot back to you here shortly. With your kind of diverse background, right? A PhD in management and IT, masters and bachelors in finance and economics. What are your thoughts on sort of this intersectionality of, business and technology, obviously through the lens of AI?
I think today's world, all the businesses are really technology businesses. So all of our faculty, all of our students at every level, master level, PhD level, undergraduate level, need to understand how technology and business can be integrated together to really drive the digital innovations that are happening in our society, in our industry. Okay. So I think all of our programs, not just the MBT, would have that kind of, I think, a hallmark, that kind of unique property, I think. So I think MBT is a great example of where we really have business and technology coming together in one very well designed program.
As we think about that, I'm curious again, sort of on your perspective, with regard to what Mohammed was talking about in terms of outcomes, right? I think you're well positioned as an expert to understand some of the intersectionality we talked about. But I'm just curious, in your view, as you've seen MBT and sort of the design concept, what roles do you think that students would be best prepared for, coming out with the kind of skills that we're offering in this particular concentration?
Well, I think students coming out of this concentration can take on a number of roles. Number one, they could be taking on roles in companies where companies trying to launch a product, and the product may have an AI component. Okay, many of these new products being launched today would have a component of AI and data, and have a component of optimization. Okay, so students coming out of our AI concentration can very well take on those roles. And students coming out of our concentration can also take on maybe eventually more of a leadership role in leading and designing these projects. Because to really to lead and design a project, you need to understand how AI can create business value, right? Where and how AI should be applied to a business problem. And the students coming out of our this AI concentration are well positioned to understand that.
Yeah, that's a great point. And Mohammed, I'm going to come back to you here. I know that as we've talked about MBT, we see the opportunity to fill kind of a unique gap in the marketplace. Can you talk about that?
Well, I think I kind of alluded to this earlier, right? So if you think about the education that's needed to run a business well today, generally it's been MBA, and naturally, most schools, as they recognize that every company is today a technology company, these MBAs are morphing into tech MBAs with some sprinkle of classes. But we are unique because we actually built this up from the ground. So, and it's actually totally intended to sort of serve the market needs and to make sure we have graduates who can go and thrive. So we did not sort of think about, like, based on convenience, can I find a class that can look like, oh, this is going to make my tech MBA work? It's rather, no, what is the curriculum do we need? We had a lot of conversation with industry partners and sort of think about, okay, what are the sort of things we need to generate these employees, to generate these skills, and then build the whole curriculum around it. So I think that's the unique aspect of this degree.
Well, that's fantastic. Thanks so much, Mohammed. We're also joined today on the call by Jennifer Krupa. Jennifer currently oversees recruiting efforts for MBT. We are currently recruiting for classes that will start soon. So Jennifer, I'm curious, if people want to find out more about, about MBT, about the different concentrations that we offer, perhaps more about the AI innovations area, or if they want to learn kind of about their fit, about how to apply, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yes, thanks, Nick. So certainly the best thing for you to do if you are interested in learning more about this program, how the concentrations fit with your background, is to schedule an appointment with me. We can do a virtual call to talk about your background, your fit with the program, the application process, and what that looks like as well. So I will put a link in our chat with an option for you to go ahead and schedule an appointment directly with me.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Jen. Jeffrey, I kind of want to pivot back to you here. Are there any sort of final thoughts for folks who might be interested in MBT or in AI here at Purdue?
Well, I think this is a great opportunity to learn not only just AI, but also in general other technologies. Okay, our program also have provided great exposure to all the business disciplines. Okay, like finance, accounting, marketing. Okay, and this program is really blending both business skills and technology together. So I think that's I think how I view this program.
That's absolutely right. I think as we look at the different concentrations, obviously we have the AI innovations. We also offer computational finance, which really kind of hinges on that fintech kind of concept that you're so familiar with. Additionally, we offer technology commercialization, which is we have an entire ecosystem here at Purdue, and we actually just a few days ago last week recorded another webinar related to that, and then yesterday we did one on robotics and automation, which is our fourth area of concentration. So. Exactly right. We have lots of available opportunities here for students to come in and really diversify their skill set with sort of that future forward, kind of outlook. So yeah, Mohammed, same question for you. Any parting thoughts before we close out today?
Well, I think, it's going to be hard to find. I mean, I can't say the word impossible, but I think it's going to be close to that, to find a program that is as rich in terms of the core background that's needed to lead a company or to do well as an entrepreneur, but at the same time be able to take the diversity of cutting edge classes that's out there that's going to decide what the future looks like. You're talking about robotics and automation. That's a big part of transformations that's happening out there for all kinds of activities, right? Be it a kitchen of a pizza store or the manufacturing or the logistics of retail stores, right? Like Amazon or Walmart. If you look at the banking sector, we have a computational finance concentration that requires really good understanding of finance, but at the same time, finance is really, really all moving toward technology today, right? So if you look at any banks today, they're truly a technology company. You could not think of Chase or Bank of America or Goldman Sachs running without the digital products they have. So we do have those kind of opportunities, and somebody who wants to really sort of also get a blend of these different classes, that's also allowed within the MBT. So I think the amount of flexibility and the richness is just unparalleled.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, all right. That will mostly bring our session today to a close. Jeffrey, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Mohammed, as always, thank you for joining in. Jen, appreciate your insights as well. So from all of us to all of you, thanks for joining, and boiler up.